Just footsack your mouth and listen. It's no through show, guys.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, it's another one of those podcasts. To my right, you've got Big Bad Bruno, and our guest today is none other than Big Dean Ansel, Dean English from the Royal Berkshire. Dean, thanks for joining us today. First of all, everybody wants to hear, I know, don't look at your watch. It's not going to be that long. But, you know, you're from Royal, and I can only say it in two ways. And because I know you, Royal Berkshire is where you come from.
Ooh, is that a B-A-R?
No, B-E-R.
Royal,
Lovely.
but yeah, that's how posh. You posh when you pronounce Berkshire as Berkshire.
Yeah,
Don't forget the Royal, though. That's
No,
it.
yeah, it's,
yeah, the Royal
but
The Royal is the most important
because
part.
I know you, I feel that we should actually call it the Royal Berkshire.
Nice. I think it sounds more posh.
That's a true reflection of where I'm from.
You've got to have royal and then posh. You know, so it's
That's
either
you.
posh Berkshire or it's posh
Posh, just
Berkshire.
No, but it's Royal Berkshire because I mean,
the Queen lives there.
the Queen does live there. However, I don't think she lived on the same council estate as you did.
She drove through it a few times, though.
Nice.
So, listen, what brings you to Zimbabwe? I mean, we're at the P3 studios right here on Moffat Avenue in Bulawayo, big ZWE. That's short for Zimbabwe, just in case you guys didn't know. Especially you. I mean, what brings you here? Why would you leave such a functioning economy to come and land right here in Bulawayo? Not even in Harare, where there's a bit more money. There's like $17 more in Harare than there are in Bulawayo.
17.
17.
I should have gone there. I don't know. It's a good question. I got told it's a good place to bring up your kids, so that's basically why I'm here.
I mean, I suppose
Otherwise, there's no other reason why.
I mean, simple choices, simple decisions, man.
And I was told there was some nice people here, but I'm yet to find them. So
Yeah,
so I mean,
you'll find you one. We'll find you
you're
one.
one.
so you are a sparky by trade electrician. A lot of building work going on at the moment in Zimbabwe. How I don't understand, but you're quite busy. I mean, you've just come
busy.
from the job now.
Straight.
Your pants look like they may have been involved in a porno, but that's what builders'
It's
pants
silicone.
look like.
It's silicone. It's not anything else.
What are you building?
Yeah.
The Playboy Mansion.
Nice. The
In
Playboy Mansion.
Zimbabwe Playboy Mansion.
Can't wait.
There must be many Zimbabwean playboys, let's call it, that are actually richer than Hugh Hefner ever was.
There's plenty of money in this place.
Is it? Do you come across it every now and
No,
then?
I don't, but you see it. There was a brand new Porsche Cayenne yesterday in town.
Oh yeah, black
Brand new. Like a dark
sure.
maroon colour.
Did you get the license plate so we can announce
No,
it to
obviously he had no
all
license
3
plates.
viewers?
Oh yeah, it's still coming into
Yeah,
I think
Zimbabwe.
it may have been a taxi because
Oh,
I just saw a Range Rover Evoque driving up and down Hillside Road, picking and dropping
Sure.
customers with shopping.
So I mean, it makes sense. Instead of going in a Honda Fit and you only do 10 trips back and forth a day, you can hit the revs on this Evoque and do maybe 50 trips in a day.
Faster.
You'll pay that Evoque off just in time to buy the next one.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a strange place, but I mean, you're here now,
Yeah.
and
There's no going back.
congratulations on the new child. I know you've had your second kid,
Yeah.
so that's why you're looking a bit wounded and
Yeah,
a bit
tired.
weary under the eye bag.
Yeah.
Kids'
seven
eyes.
seven years difference between, and I forgot everything.
That's
Forgotten
but,
it.
Two kids.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yo.
but I mean, that means your first one could have, can take care of the small one now.
He's not that old.
You know,
You know my son.
I mean, one more year and you got to put him to work, man. This is
Yeah,
Zim now.
yeah.
It's nice to bring up kids here because you get to put them to work early.
And the money.
Yeah, and earn the money. Isn't that how the culture works, really?
That is how the culture works. That and Porsche Cayennes being used as
That's how you can.
taxis.
That's how you can afford a Porsche
Do you
Cayenne.
remember Rixie taxis that used to be here back in the day? They were. You might not remember this because the vehicles that were used at the Rixie taxis were, I think they were Renault 2 R2s
And Datsuns.
and the Datsuns. Now those had left Europe. Before you were born.
Yeah, I remember
However,
them.
there was a fleet of them here up until the
Brand
90s.
new ones, even.
The first Renault I know is the Renault 5.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
those were
Renault 5s
R2s,
are
and they
cool.
had 3 gears, I think,
Yeah.
if you can remember.
Like the Flintstones, was back, reverse.
I had a
It
Renault
was
in
probably the same. It was built the same time as the Flintstones.
close, I'm sure, because the old ones used to have that gear. Remember, I had one of those in England. In fact.
What, a Renault 2?
A Renault 5, but
Oh,
the
Renault
gears
5.
you still change them. Like it's not a gear stick. It's like you have to pull it, turn, put it back in, kind of thing. It's a very weird gear system.
It's a French gear system.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
It's like French doors and
There's French
It works
starts not
perfectly.
French.
It
It's
works
French
perfectly.
doors and French toast.
Yeah, I mean it works fine. It works fine. It's not that you think it's weird because it's just like
need
it
to get used
sticks
to it.
straight out, and you just kind of push it forward and twist it a bit into the next gear. But it works
Well, like
perfectly
a-
fine.
Almost like an aeroplane sort of.
Yeah, kind of. It's just
Lever.
you pull it out, you turn, you put it back in, kind of thing. But you're doing this whilst driving, and it
actually
works quite well.
Very similar to how you take out plutonium out of an atom bomb and you put it and turn it and put it back in.
Do the sequence and then drive.
So,
I like
Red
that
button.
car.
I mean, we can understand that the gears are so strange because they're French. I mean, but does it go va va voom? Can you not remember that advert with Thierry Henry?
McGann.
Ah, va, va, boom.
Does it? What's the French for
Yeah,
va va
the one
voom?
which had the big butt.
The big butt. That's why the
that's what
bubble
it was.
boom.
Yeah, that was it.
Anyway,
Oh,
you
whack
guys
head.
didn't you guys conquer the French?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Not many countries we haven't, to be fair. So
Yeah.
just,
that
I was
is
about to
true.
say.
This is we're sitting here in Zimbabwe with a colonizer, basically.
wow. I wasn't actually a colonizer.
You know,
Sins of the fathers.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think we should all take lessons from the sins of the father law. You know,
Yeah.
you can't be blamed for that.
No, no.
yeah, that actually
And anyway, now the colonizers are the colonizees.
that is true. But what you're saying there with the sins of the father is correct because a lot of things are happening around the world right now with the Antifa and the protests that were going on overseas, and you know, calling for the heads of current people and current cultures and races for that matter. But things were happening many a year ago, and it's it's a bit of I can understand, but there also needs to be some rationality. Is that even a word?
Rationality.
Rationality,
Yeah.
rationality.
A rational
Where
thought.
I thought you were in the A stream. at
I
school.
was in the A stream, and
The absent stream.
you know, it was just meant that you were able to copy work better than anybody else, and you know.
You're clever with your seating arrangements.
Is rationality a word?
In fact, let me just tell you a funny story about copying at high school. It was, we used to do our exams in the big hall, which you remember at CBC Christian Brothers College. Go the Hornets. And I used to sit behind my good friend Bradley Rass, who is very good at mathematics, and I'm very poor at mathematics. In fact, I think I might have dyslexia with numbers. It's a true story. And
You think you
my
might?
wife makes fun of me all the time.
It's a bit late to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you live in Zimbabwe where there's like trillions and billions of dollars.
And 4 different currencies trading at the same. It's like you have to be a bloody Wall Street broker to live in this place.
No, you have to, you know, if Stephen Hawking himself couldn't even figure out what's going on here in Zim when it comes to waking up in the morning. But I can remember this is how we used to do in the exams because the teachers used to invigilate and they used to walk up and down and walk it up in the whole big hall full of silent children. And then you would ask for paper because this is how you did the cheat. You'd ask for paper and then the teacher would come and hand you a blank piece of paper. And as she turned her back, my friend Bradley Rass would pass his papers back like that. So it was, you know, it was all good. And then you'd ask for some more paper and this is how you'd get it back to him. And at some point, they must have thought, this guy must be working out a lot of
He's
stuff.
writing
here.
a bloody thesis here.
He's writing a thesis on basically on currency in Zimbabwe, basically.
Yeah, it's one of those simple questions. Chipo goes to buy 2 bags of flour, but she has $4, and the bag of flour is $1.50. What change does she get? Hand over a book like this. I finished my 4-hour test.
If it's in Zim dollar, it's this much. If it's in rand, it's this much.
And by the time I've handed this paper in, I have to start again.
So that is the life which you have chosen now. Waking up in the morning and realizing the money you've got in the bank just devalued a couple percent by the minute,
I
actually.
think you ended that question with the money you have in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What money? What bank?
What money? What bank? Yeah.
It's interesting times, man. I think we are looking at dollarizing now. Bruno, you quite up to speed on what your beliefs of dollarization?
Don't want to comment.
Okay.
Yeah,
But yes, dollars will be used.
No, yes. In my industry, it's definitely dependent on the client. If some person want to pay.
You're finding now more people are just willing to pay in dollars.
Because it works out cheaper.
Yeah, it does actually, and the hassles of getting it, and you've got it.
Yeah. And every day, like you're saying, the rate changes. So you price for it in US dollar, in Zim dollars, and then you go and get the money the next day, and already you're short in your pocket because the price of changed.
And that's happened a lot in the building industry as well in the past. Last time this happened, people, you have that off-plan story. You buy your property off-plan, put in a deposit, they use that money to build.
Where does that happen?
That happens everywhere,
in Zimbabwe.
So it still happens a little bit, but it'll only happen in US.
Because you'll pay the deposit and a new double cab will get bought.
Even without that, because you can still buy a double cab. It doesn't matter. As long as you're building the guys' houses, it doesn't make a difference.
You'll be sleeping in the double cab.
When the guys have paid previously, let's say you're building $100,000 house and the deposit is 15 grand, 15%. That 15 grand should have built you, say, to foundation level. And by the time the hyperinflation kicked in, it wouldn't even buy the one window frame.
Yeah.
So the guys have had to flee. They just couldn't pay it back. Yeah, they couldn't. They knew that their contract was there. They didn't. No one anticipated it. But
did they flee in their new Hilux for 15 grand?
In their new Hilux,
single cab.
Not me.
It'll be a 2008 for 15 grand.
So that's why we use the US dollar for these things, because it's one thing buying bread, but it's another.
Even
thing.
rand, eh? Even rand. I've had clients paying rand, and it takes them a week to pay. By the time they've paid me, the rand's the rate's gone through the roof.
That's funnily enough, we mentioned the rand because I read an article the other day about COVID corruption in South Africa, and it seems 500 billion rand has somehow found its way out of the coffers for COVID.
and into the pockets.
Just 50 billion.
500
billion even.
And they're peaking now, on COVID.
Yeah, I think they had was it 100,000 cases in a day or something?
I don't know what it was, but
we're meant to be up to 100 and something. I mean, this week's meant to be hectic.
I think there was 93 I saw in the newspaper.
Did you get tested for COVID?
Yeah, but months ago.
Yeah, so he's clear. He's fine. He's got it all clear. He's never going to catch it because he's had that one test. It means he's so he can go wherever he wants and just.
He actually looks like he has it.
It's a heavy.
He looked like he had it before it was even a thing.
$25. How much does it cost in UK to get a test?
Probably free. It's NHS.
Yeah, exactly. Here's 25 bucks a pop.
How much does school cost for your kids in the UK?
For free.
So
you have to pay school uniform.
So listen, Owens, what's the minimum salary in this country now?
$1 a month.
It's 2,500 if I'm not mistaken.
Is that for domestic
minimum salary?
Yeah.
So minimum salary 2,500 bond. Let's call that
divided by 100.
Let's call it $30. Let's call it 30.
$1 a day.
Something, yeah.
So we call it $30. That's $1 a day. That's poverty line stuff, which we're talking about anyway. World Health or World Bank or anyone will call that under the poverty line. But anyway, we'll call that $1 a day. A test for COVID costs $25.
Yeah, so
a whole month's salary, which and you're gonna have to get it next month. So what are you gonna do with that?
But the COVID tests were donated.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
That's my point. There's no win in this place.
Even in NUST, because it went NUST doing the test.
It's cheaper to get COVID,
but you have to pay there also to get. You do.
I think they might have done their students for free. I don't know, or subsidized.
So, we're talking about poverty line and. I read something the other day that Tanzania, would you believe it? Tanzania is no longer poor. They are now considered middle income country. Weren't we meant to be middle income by 2030?
Do you say Tanzania or
You mean
Tanzania? Because a lot of people
1920.
here say Tanzania.
Hey, listen,
And it
you
annoys
don't
me.
get to tell us.
No,
how
I
to
like.
speak
No, I
English
say
because-
Tanzania.
Because even though you invented
We
the
invented
language,
it, yeah.
which came
Well,
from a
actually from the
German
Greeks.
dialect, everything
and-
comes from the Greek.
Yeah.
The Germans came from the,
Turkish Greeks.
English came from the Greeks.
English came from the Greeks. Well, it's
The
So-
Greeks
Latin,
take everything, man.
So,
dude.
hey, but
Olympics.
what did we take? Everything.
Even everyone's money.
From the European Union, especially. Yeah.
Damn
So-
right.
But how much does Greece owe still? Have you checked this out?
Okay, just that,
We
I
don't
know
care.
that you-
We've left.
I know that you guys are asking about Greece a lot.
Yes.
However, my heritage is Cypriot, which is
know.
a different country.
We know,
So I
but-
don't know about Greece.
But also
Just
British.
like when we...
All I know, hold on. All I know is if the Turks attacked Cyprus from the rear, would Greece help?
with lube.
Oh, man, Greg. But you know what? You are right. But when someone asks you from, say, the States, hey, how's South Africa? And, being from Zim, you can still know what's happening in South Africa, right? Like, that 500 billion has been taken from the coffers.
correct.
Because you get the
So-
same news.
We want to know how much money Greece has.
Ah,
Because I'm sure
they've got
Cyprus and
plenty.
Greece are like this.
So they need
Wasn't
to. Okay, I'll tell you the answer, guys. They've got enough.
What, to bail out the whole
I
country?
didn't ask how much they had. I said,
Wasn't
how
it
much do they
80?
owe?
Wasn't it 80 billion they
We
took a
don't
loan
owe,
for?
we don't
Greece
owe too
owed
much.
$350 billion
That's
to the World
250
Bank.
billion. That was all.
So, I mean, if Cyril
250.
Ramaphosa...
But didn't they take
billion.
80 billion from the European Union as a bailout as well?
Well, if Cyril, maybe Cyril Ramaphosa is going to pay a bit of the 500 billion that he nicked to pay back, help out.
Did you take it from Greece? Thing
What's
is,
500 billion rand in euros?
well, it's time divided by, say, 20.
Come on, mathematician. Let's go, Gregor.
$25.
20 is 252.5 billion
What, rand?
dollars.
Oh, dollars.
Yeah.
Was 500 billion.
Yeah, divided by 20 for
Sure.
the euros. 2.5 billion
2.5.
euros.
You can buy a nice house, eh?
Yeah.
A billion. You can buy a few houses, actually.
Yeah,
I keep
I
thinking
mean,
million. Billion. Like in England,
billions,
in
dude.
England, you don't. Billions is a very word you don't use very often at
Yeah.
all. Billion. Million is like you've made it. Billion is you don't hear about people like what's his name, Virgin. He's a billionaire,
Richard
Branson.
Virgin
Branson.
Branson.
but I don't think he is definitely not a virgin. But anyway,
No.
He's not. He's got a lot of money. Definitely a billionaire. There's quite a few. In fact, I think
There's many.
I think
but
there's
not as
1,000.
many as Indian.
I think
India.
there's close to 1,000 billionaires.
what in England?
No, total.
Oh, total. That's what I'm saying. So billion you don't hear a lot
but a lot
of.
of
but in
them are from
Africa,
England.
Billion.
Quite a lot are from
Most
England.
of them are from India.
Yeah,
But probably live in
States.
England because they're doctors.
No, yes, they all live in West London.
And old Bezos is said to be the first trillionaire. Man.
Who?
Bezos from Amazon.
It
yeah.
is-
Well, he's
It
He's
is-
on his way to a trillionaire. That's a million.
and he started with $1,000 from his dad or something, wasn't it?
Man, I mean, fair on the guy. But have you seen what we've actually, I think we've looked this up. The weight and the size of $1 million in cash, $100 notes. And it's a fair size brick of money. Imagine 1 million of those. That's like a full entire warehouse of $100
money.
notes. You can't use it, man. You just
Okay,
can't
no,
use it.
I could. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
You can't use $1 trillion. You can't even use $1 billion, man. Let's face it. If
But
you-
I would like
you
to
can,
objectively...
you can throw away $1 billion,
And
but
I
you
just
can't
saw
use it.
on Facebook this afternoon there was a 747 or 777 kitted out. It must have been some
a rap mogul,
no UAE
Okay, yeah.
guy had a
Sultan.
Sultan of
Brunei.
Brunei, who also lives in Royal Berkshire, by the way. Just throw that in there.
Of course he does.
He does. He lives in Binfield in Royal Berkshire.
Nice.
Oh,
You
that's
know his
another
exact
angle.
address.
Where's because we're going to
I can
kidnap.
tell you where he is. He's got a river that runs through his garden. I've been chased up a few times by the guards.
Nice.
You should run through there with bacon, wrapped in bacon, and see what happens to you.
They're Muslims, are they?
I don't know, man.
What bacon?
Who are we talking about?
All right, guys. I mean, let's pick this up. Let's pick up this convo of kidnapping billionaires after we fill up and top up.
Nice one.